Third stimulus check and third stimulus package. Joe Biden spoke today about your third stimulus package. This is everything that you've been wondering about, and it would come in late January. The $24 of SSI and SSDI, the MSC, the multiple stimulus check, hazard pay, EIDL grant, Lifeline grant, CDC grant. Wow, so much exciting, great news. In this video, I'm going to break down all the details, when you would see the money, how would you apply, and basically give you a roadmap from point A to point B, because this is going to hit very quickly. These are all diminishing funds. You want to be the first to pounce and get the money as the purple hawks you are. It's so exciting. I'm so glad you're here. And this is Third Stimulus Check and Third Stimulus Package. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Third Stimulus Check and Third Stimulus Package, Biden stimulus that will be coming to you in late January. And ultimately, a lot of these things are first come, first serve. So I want you to be the first to come and the first to self-serve yourself with all this deliciousness of stimulus. If you've not subscribed, please do. Go to the Funds channel, subscribe. Because no one's fighting to get you money right now around the clock better than I am. Giving you a roadmap where the money is, when to get it, and how soon to get it, and not telling you after the fact, because after the fact, it's going to be gone. Meantime, I don't want you to be a donut guy to say, hey, I'll just wait around for it to land in my bank account, because on third stimulus, most of it requires you to lift your fingers. So put down that donut and get to work. Also, like the video when you put down the donut as well. In this video, I'll be going over what is in third stimulus, how you can apply, where you'll apply, what will be the routing times, how will they work, those details and what more. What I want you to do is I want you to get a pad and paper, get it, make notes, keep it to the side, put it on a table, because you're going to have a lot of things to apply for in 2021. There's so much stimulus in 2021. It is not like 2020 where you saw much of nothing. In 2021, there's going to be so much, you're going to lose track potentially of everything you qualify for. And with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that there's massive stimulus in third stimulus check and third stimulus package. It takes an act of convincing viewers to understand, yeah, 2020 was a bad year for stimulus where everything just went slow, little drips. 2021 is going to be like a tsunami of stimulus just hitting you very quickly. And I don't want you to be late to the game, because these are first come, first serve, meaning if you don't grab it, someone else is going to grab it and it'll be gone. Let me go over all the deal provisions. I'll tell you what's automatic, what's not automatic, when will you get it, how you will get it, and more. All right, let's start it. First, SSI and SSDI. Yours is automatic. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, or Veterans benefits, you would get that additional SSI check. Now, this is in addition to your stimulus check. Everything that I say in this video is in addition to, not in replacement for. $200 every month from January to December. It's a 12-month run. The first check will likely be delayed and will land in February. So February, you get 2 checks. Then up to a 20% lifetime increase. That would generally manifest itself starting in February. And a new benchmark that would take effect every year in December that would be tied to something different than COLA that would increase your benefits more per year than how much they're increasing now, which is next to nothing. Really, really good news. All right, next. FPUC retroactive. Boy, if you have not tuned in to Overnight LALATE, it is a new hit programming block on this channel. EIDL is at 1 o'clock and FPUC Retro is at 2 o'clock. FPUC Retro is explaining how much you get with this and how you get FPUC Retro. First, what is FPUC Retro? It is FPUC on top of your UI and PUA if you were unemployed from July 25th to the last week of December. I don't care if you're employed now. It's whether you were unemployed during those months and you were paid for UI or PUA during those months. That was the period in which there was no FPUC in this country. Now, I know there was LWA. That is not a factor. This is FPUC for those months. Biden wants to pay you $600 a week for every week that spanned. That's a lot of money. That is about 30 weeks. $600 a week, $12,000. So every morning at 2 a.m. I go over that $12,000. But boy, all you have to have done is get UI and PUA for those weeks, and you're set up automatically for FPUC. This is, again, something you don't have to do. So long as you've already been paid PUA and UI from July 25th to December, at some point, you will get $600 for each of those weeks retroactively. Next, going forward, you're going to get $600 a week as well for Biden. This is the non-retroactive FPUC. He's going to take the current FPUC of $300 and say, okay, I'm revising it and moving it to $300. So you're going to get you're going to get an additional $300 for this last week, this current week. So you may have gotten $300 like if you're in Arizona, Florida, or New York. You're going to get another $300 for this week. Biden's going to pay you $600 going forward as far as he needs to, presumably around June. So this is a lot of moolah. Okay, next. EIDL grant. Oh my goodness. That's again also at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on overnights LA. EIDL grant under Biden will be everything you think EIDL grant will be. It will be EIDL grant for new applicants. It'll be EIDL grant for applicants who applied before and the grant when the grant was open and they ran out of money. EIDL grant for people who applied when there was no EIDL grant, but there was an EIDL loan and they got the loan. And then EIDL grant for people who never got the remainder of their $10,000 EIDL grant, but got $1,000 per employee. All that across the board. The only thing that's a no in this group is people who already got $10,000 EIDL grant. You'll not get another EIDL grant. Also, if you are getting the EIDL agricultural $10,000 grant or rancher EIDL grant, or the inner city, the low-income community $10,000 grant under second stimulus, that's now. That's the video right before that. If you're getting $10,000 now, you're not going to get another $10,000. That's sort of obvious. It's basically one business, $10,000, not $20,000 or $40,000 per business. Now, if you have 4, 5, 6 different businesses and they've prepared different tax returns and you pay different tax returns and they're all impacted by the pandemic, yes, each of them will get $10,000. That's very obvious as well. PPP. Oh, you're going to see more PPP under Biden. So in addition to second stimulus PPP, which is going live this week, you're going to see Biden PPP. You see this, how much stimulus there is? It's just overflowing. It's overflowing. So this is why I want you to take notes about it. So far, everything that I've covered so far, unemployment that's pretty clear who is unemployment. The SSI, that's clear who that is for. EIDL and PPP is for anyone that is from Airbnb all the way up to a business with 500 employees. So it's anyone in that range, so long as you declare the income on the tax return. Then we have the Lifeline grant. Getting a lot of questions about that lately. The Lifeline grant, up to $50,000. You know, it's really interesting. The $50,000 is based upon your cost of goods sold, which is your schedule's line 2. If your cost of goods sold is over $50,000, you're going to get $50,000 grant. So that's insane. Now, a lot of people don't have cost of goods sold of $50,000. Some do, but a lot don't. So whatever you do have, that's what you're going to get. You have $5,000 cost of goods sold, you get a $5,000 grant. Then, and that's again a business oriented grant. Also, the CDC grant, that's for frontline workers. It'll be underwritten by CDC. You'll apply for CDC. It is unclear how much it is. It's presumably over $10,000, and how it's going to work, really unclear about that. Then we have the hazard pay. You know, hazard pay, I've done so many videos. I've done a video every single day for hazard pay, I think since June. No one has been laser focused, more dedicated to you about hazard pay than I have. And a lot of people have asked about hazard pay. Ultimately, when hazard pay gets written, it may look different than how it's looked before. It may be phrased differently. It may have different eligibility. These are the factors to consider. One, the amount could get changed. It's currently $10,000. It was its last version, its last written version was $10,000 up to $10,000, $13 an hour from January to 60 days after the pandemic ended. Then it said if you made a lot of money in 2019, you'll get $5,000. The eligibility of hazard pay was pretty darn broad. It included everything from Airbnb all the way up to a nurse. So it was very broad. Maybe it's going to be broader. Maybe it'll be more narrow. Biden has talked about the same sort of words, but has talked about teachers and something that would normally not always be included in the original hazard pay. So the eligibility will be molded certainly by Biden in a way that we haven't seen before. Certainly the amount of money as well. And then the application process. That's the one you really want to get on Biden. If you're an old-time viewer of this channel, you have heard me say this 9 gazillion times. The application process of hazard pay is the one that just makes people just antsy because it says that the employer applies, not you. There's nothing worse than that provision at this point. I'll tell you why it's bad right now. For example, let's say you worked at that employer in March, April, May, June of 2019, and the boss is dead. Okay, so who's going to apply for you? Let's say the business is shut down, ran out of money. Who's going to apply for you? The boss hates you and fired you and shut his door. Who's going to apply for you? Who has the records? Then they have all the issues about the independent contractors who are per job work. You're going to say, I drove the truck from New York to LA. It took me 6 days, that many hours, but who's gonna verify that? So you see a lot of problems with hazard pay. I get the craziest questions about hazard pay. Just tone it down. Where do I get it? When do I get my $10,000? I just expect this to be a very slow process. Rent will be back. Utilities will be back. Free internet will be back. And the big things that need to be back will be back, which are eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, and student loan debt forgiveness. Those are likely to happen on January 21st by executive order of President Joe Biden-elect. How will those manifest themselves? Joe Biden will likely do executive order for eviction moratorium that is federally based, not based upon CDC, which is just so peculiar, not my favorite. And it would just protect people from being evicted until the pandemic's over. Then there would be a mortgage forbearance, because there is none now. Can you imagine? There is no mortgage forbearance now. It was not included in the second stimulus package, so do not remind the bank if you're behind on the mortgage, because they have a window to foreclose on you between now and the 20th of January. Very scary. And then finally, student loan debt forgiveness. Can you imagine? Biden is being urged to do student loan debt forgiveness on day one of his presidency, of his term. Really exciting news. And then the multiple stimulus checks. How much, how soon, how often, how frequent? Joe Biden talked about the $2,000 stimulus check today. I mean, what other numbers are going to talk about? 1,200? It's just not, it has to be 2,000. Could it be more than 2,000? I don't know. The big issue is how many, how often, until when? Joe Biden has been evasive about the amount until today when he embraced $2,000, which is like everyone has embraced $2,000. So if he did not embrace $2,000, it would look sort of weird. But the question is, how often? Is it every month? And if it is every month, is it from January to June? Is it January to April? How often is this going to happen? We know the benchmark. The benchmark is the Markey Sanders-Harris bill, $2,000 at least 6 months. Well, at least 6 months is June. And then the other parts of the provision said, and thereafter until unemployment goes down or the pandemic is over, whichever's first. Well, the pandemic's not going to be over in June. And the unemployment rate will likely not drop to 200,000, which was what it was before the pandemic hit by June. So by all accounts, it could go past $2,000 for 6 months. And there you go. Over the next few days, you're going to start to see more talk about the third stimulus package. My prediction is that as soon as those Georgia Senate seats are done, then everyone can just talk about what they want to talk about. They're very dancing on their tippy toes right now because they don't want to talk about stuff to jinx anything with Georgia. Once Georgia's done, they can say, hey, here we go. But the day did start with indications that Joe Biden wants $7 trillion allocated to fix schools, $9 trillion to fix the highways. So we see these enormous numbers coming from Biden, 7 and 9, and we're not even to third stimulus check and third stimulus package. So by all accounts, you would not expect third stimulus check and third stimulus package to be 1 trillion or even 2 trillion. It could likely be 4, 5, 6 trillion if everything else he's talking about is 7, 9, 10. How's it going to get paid for? That's another video. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Go to the front, shout subscribe. Also, like this video. Meantime, I'll be coming back alive on Bean and Mitch this afternoon if you have more questions. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.